Konnichiwa, everyone, and welcome back. Well, you just heard the extent of my Japanese, but today we are reviewing a cigar with a Japanese name. This is the new Viaje Hamaki Omakase. Now, assuming that I said that correctly, and it's a big assumption, this is a 5x52 Robusto produced in Nicaragua. The word Hamaki is Japanese for cigar, and omakase means to let the chef determine what you will eat. These cigars originally appeared, I say these because the Hamaki and the Hamaki Omakase, the Hamaki is a different cigar. This is the Hamaki Omakase. First appeared in 2017 as part of the Viaje's white label project. Now, like I said, Hamaki is the Japanese word for cigar. Omakase actually means I will leave it to you, which sort of fits with the cigar because if the chef is determining what you're going to have, you don't know what you're having, and there are no details about the cigar other than it's made in Nicaragua. So, one thing I noticed, it has a rather closed foot. Let's look at the density there. Now, the cigar features the name Viaje on one side, and on this side, whatever, I'm assuming maybe it says the name of the cigar there, and this little blue, faint baby blue band at the foot. Has a good feel in the hand. Very dark wrapper, as you can tell. So why don't we get right to it? The new Viaje Hamaki Omakase. We got another one of these little bands at the foot here. Let's see if we can find where it starts. Right there. Right there. Right there. Okay. Rather long little band. I don't recall this happening with the other ones I had. Okay. It's just a little blue band. So let's just remove it. If all else fails, just paper, tear it off. All right, so there again is the foot and the density. Like I said, it's a nice oily wrapper. Nice target area dome to cut. All right. Sorry about that. Here we go. Watch the pieces fly. The first flavor of any sort of significant sweetness is just about dwarfed away, but it seems to be a somewhat dry cedar with just a little bit of brown sugar on it. And the reason it's hard to tell what that flavor actually is because there is a massive amount of dark chocolate, leather, and black coffee that are just engulfing all around this poor little cedar that sits there. I'm going to say the leather is the lighter of the three. The dark chocolate and coffee, the black coffee, which is just about an espresso, very potent. I think there's a nutmeg in the mix, but those flavors are so dark, it'll have to develop more for me to even say if it's there or not. So that's how you start. It's not really sweet, not very, but it's very dark. Lots of dark notes. So let's see where we go from here. Well, I'm about a 3/4 of an inch in, 10 minutes roughly. Yeah. And the flavors have settled down, but the initial flavors to now, it's settled down. So there is, it is sort of a citrusy cedar. There are some caramel notes, brown sugar. The leather is average to light. The dark chocolate and black coffee, very close to espresso, is very heavy. There is nutmeg, plenty of it actually, which could be leather and nutmeg. I believe they're both in there. Black pepper at about roughly 8ish. It's pretty heavy on black pepper. It's a very dark cigar though. So I just want to let you know it does settle down to where there is some distinguishable sweeter notes, even though there are not a ton of them. Over here at the first third, and the little cedar, little brown sugar, a lot of nutmeg, leather, heavy dark chocolate unsweetened, and heavy black coffee are still in play. I would call the cigar full bodied. The finish is dark chocolate and lingering black pepper. Dark chocolate and probably you could say coffee. It's just a very dark finish. This is an interesting cigar with power. It feels like a very powerful cigar. It's just interesting how many dark notes there are. It's a good mix, but it's very dark. For the first third, I'm intrigued by the darker notes and the way they blended this. I'm starting it off at 91. It's pretty dark and not a lot of sweetness. You have to be a particular type of cigar lover for this cigar to really appeal to you. Let's just see what the second third brings. We're here at the end of the second third. And the minor amount of sweetness that was there is actually decreased. I failed to mention the very light caramel notes in the previous segment, and they are getting lighter. And the reason I didn't is because they've gotten lighter. And they're lighter still. You pretty much say they're gone. You've got a semblance of cedar with the least amount of brown sugar, lots of nutmeg, lots of dark chocolate unsweetened, and black coffee, and a little thread or two of leather to make it even darker. This cigar is going to appeal to them in the masses to a select group of people. It's not really hitting on a lot of cylinders for me. It's just so dark with basically no sweetness to it. Full bodied, the finish is unchanged. It's still that dark chocolate and coffee. But, second, third, I would go with 89. It seems like it would be a good after dinner cigar if you had something really sweet that you needed to tone down that. Maybe you had a piece of cheesecake. Massively sweet. This would go well with that. But the final third, we'll see what happens. Well, we're down to the end, so let's wrap it up. Okay, the cigar got darker and darker, and the sweetness just went away. I can hardly tell you any cedar. There is a touch. Basically, no brown sugar. It's a thread of leather in there, and everything else is unsweetened dark chocolate and black coffee. Very full body. Finish is basically unchanged, has been from the start. This is a dark cigar. For the final third, I would go with 87. It did start out with a little sweetness, but it just quickly fainted, went away. Throughout the course of the cigar, you go from some sweetness to none. And I purchased these at small batch, and they quickly sold out, and you can't hardly find them anywhere. So obviously there is a big market for them, and I guess there are a lot of very dark noted, no sweetness, very little to no sweetness cigar lovers out there. So take my review descriptions into account and not necessarily my score. But for me, with the final third rating an 87, that gives an overall score of 89. It's a quality cigar, but it's just too dark for my taste. I can see a place for it, but it's few and far between. So there you have it. The new Viaje Hamaki Omakase 89.